Hi and welcome back to Finders Beepers History Seekers. First of all, it is a bit windy in here. Second of all, I've got a spot the size of my own head sticking off my face there. So I apologise for any wind noise and any taking over of the world by this spot. But we're talking about Sunday's video that has just gone. An abandoned house review that's not a classic for a change. I have done loads and loads of classics recently and I've sort of neglected the newer videos. However, that's because I know how much people love the classics. They love looking back. It keeps Andy involved in the videos as well because obviously you get to see bits of him. And if you're not one of these people that are very sort of computer savvy, you might not know how to get onto the older videos. My advice to you on that is go on playlists. There's a good way of getting on there that way. But I just thought I'd do this week's while it was fresh in my mind, and I found loads and loads and loads of information about it. But first of all, we'll talk about the actual house itself and what was in it. It's very gaudy, very bright, because look at this round this corner here, going up the stairs. I love that artwork. I think it's brilliant. But would I want it on my stairs? I don't know if I would. Bear, we're not going upstairs yet. Downstairs. Come on. Good boy. But then I do like the fact that they're using old style tiles all over the place. In fact, there's tiles all over. That's like a swimming bath. If you look at that, it's like a pool. What is happening in here? The floor is just a mess. Oh my Lord. Look at that bed. That is wonderful. That is like really old style Japanese bed. With all the, I've got to be careful, this floor feels awful. Look, even the chairs in here, like a Japanese style. I don't know if they are originally from Japan, but they are. It's brilliant. And then we've got someone that looks a bit Greek. That doesn't fit with the rest. What we got in here? Oh my Lord. I was saying about having no area to sit in. Oh my Lord. Yeah, look. All the books there. What looks like a big dining table here. Chandelier up there, look. And then moving through, we'll look at all the individual items in a minute, but look in here. This is crazy. What an amazing place. Look at the old beams as well. This is like a big old dining hall. Now, like today, if it had been a beautiful day when I've been exploring there, that place would have looked even more amazing. It's surrounded by pools, which I'll come back to one of those, or all of it later on, and who designed it and who built it, because I found out all the information about it. But the pools themselves, when there was no algae on top of them, would have been beautiful. They would have probably been half filled with koi carp. Then, as well as that, the actual building itself, with the absolutely bizarre interior. I can't explain it. Like, I want to say wonderful, but then part of me thinks, was it wonderful or was it just weird? Like, it was by far one of the strangest places I've ever explored, because it's just not, like, from the outside of the place, especially around the front where you didn't see, the outside of the place just didn't match up with the interior at all. You'd got big Chinese bed, you'd got a 4-poster bed that clearly didn't fit in that room, you'd got big settees and huge, like, things of birds, like stuffed birds and things. It was just all a bit crazy. But the general consensus was you loved the place. Whether you thought it was garish, whether you thought it wasn't really to your taste, everybody said it wasn't really to my taste, but I loved this explore. And I think it's because it was just so different to what we normally see.
Like, you're used to seeing the little abandoned cottages and houses and one thing or another. And this, even though it was a house, was just so weird with the tree houses. Oh, the tree houses were just crazy. Like, one of them wasn't technically a tree house, the one that I went into, but the second one was. And that's another thing we'll come back onto in a bit. But I don't know, it's just so strange, and the circumstances around it were just even stranger.
Right, I've decided to let Bear off his lead. I hope he don't end up in one of these bloody ponds. Because look, another one here, and it is massive. The steps, whoa! Oh God, that is slippy. Yeah, there's steps down. I almost ended up in it. Don't know about Bear, but the thing is, Bear, don't go down there because you will think that's grass. Don't you dare. I know what he's like for running onto things like that, thinking it's grass when it's water. But yeah, I'm sorry about the rain and the darkness not letting me show you this properly, but at least you can see it a bit. There's a little, I've got to be so careful. I need to watch my feet really, because it's so slippy. Bear, come back this way. Come back to me. Come back to me now. Yeah, there's like a little Wendy house thing over there. All right, let's get up over this bridge here.
Right, so there is so much information, I'm gonna have to read some out, so I do apologise. Now, the place was built, and it started to be built in 1907. Now, I'd been told it was like hundreds of years old, but obviously this is the thing with people that go exploring and go into these places. If they don't do the research, they'll guess. A lot of the time people guess stuff. They'll go in and they'll say, oh, this was an original Tudor building built in 1600 or 1500 or whatever. I try to do as much research as I can. It's not always easy, but sometimes I'll go off what other people have said, and that's what everybody else does. It's sort of Chinese whispers. It is what it is. You've got to pick up certain things from certain places, otherwise you'd spend your entire life researching them before you go, and then when you get there you can't bloody get in. So a lot of the time I'll do the research afterwards. So this is why now I can correct myself, and this is why these videos are good. So yeah, I thought this place was a few hundred years old. It was actually built just over 100 years ago, 1907, and was finished in 1910. Totally finished. The landscape, gardening and everything was all done by then. And it was built by a Walter Melville Wills. He was a multi-millionaire tobacco magnate. So all his money came from people smoking, which is a little bit crazy. I don't know why it's a little bit crazy, but it's because it's not really a thing these days. Not only is it not a thing that one person would own a tobacco company, like today it's just like a big conglomerate. I can't say that word. Conglomerate.
Right, editing Matt, I've either already spoken to you or I'm going to speak to you again in a minute. I can't remember which way around it goes, but I've just been looking again, not at the guy, not at Mr. Wills, but at the tobacco company. And it's Imperial. Now, Imperial are massive. They're absolutely huge. They started up in 1600s over in Spain. And then they moved, one of their offices opened in the 1700s in Bristol. And it was taken over or partly used as WO and something Wills. So his family, obviously it wasn't him because he wasn't born till the 1800s, but his family were in the tobacco empire and all the dodgy slavery side of things by the looks of things as well. So there's dodgy slavery back history to this place. They invented Rizla. So Rizla, I don't know about abroad, but in the UK, Rizla is a massive brand, a massive, massive brand for people doing up all the roll-ups and stuff like that. Also, later on, after he was in charge, Imperial Brands invented the e-cigarette. So they're a massive company. No wonder he had £4.4 million when he died. Anyway, I'll let you get back to the main video.
This guy was hugely, hugely, hugely rich at the time. To be a multi-millionaire in the early 1900s, you had a lot of money, Right, editing Matt here, obviously in bed this morning. So I've just been looking into Mr. Wills, and he was actually a patron of a homeopathic hospital, which I think still stands there, or the buildings at least are still there today. Very, very, very close to where this place was. So don't you think it's strange that it's then turned into a homeopathic kind of retreat for people later on in life? I think the connection is really cool. I'll put in a couple of photos of the building, the hospital, which was associated with it. It's crazy. Like, this guy had mega money. He wasn't just your two-bob millionaire. He had a fortune, and he had fingers in all sorts of pies. I suggest you go away and do a bit of research on him, because he's a very interesting man. I can't go into too much depth about him because two reasons. One, I don't want to give away where the location is to your common garden explorer that's going to go and trash the place. Although explorers don't generally trash the place, but other people that are just watching the video for a few seconds might do. And also, I think it's cool that you get to go away and have a look at things yourself sometimes as well. So yeah, anyway, bit of extra information for you. I'll get back to editing this video. Now, I'm going to try and miss out a lot of it because there's absolutely loads. And there's also bits in here that I can't tell you because it gives away where it is. So it's built around 5 pools at different levels, linked by water cascading gently down from one level to the next. The second pool was built specifically as a swimming pool, so that where Bear was stood, there were steps down. I'm guessing that was the swimming pool. It makes sense. Walk down into the pool, and it was a big pool. How cool would that be to have a house with a semi-natural pool? Obviously, it has been built, but I mean, it's not like they've got the swimming pool inside with that wall that looked like a swimming pool. But outside, they've got like almost a natural pool with running water. That would be so good. I would absolutely love that. Let's have a look. Yeah, and it was graded from deep at one end to shallow at the other, and had a grotto boathouse and at the deep end farthest from the house. See, this is another thing. Look, you miss these things out. Like, creeping round in the dark. I would love to have gone and found that bit and, like, found the boathouse. And I bet nobody even knows about that. All these other explorers that have been, although I don't think there's that many, I bet they don't even know about this. Let's have a look. What else? With grass-covered patio above for sunbathing and diving. There's a narrow rock-lined gorge between the swimming pool and the road that is nearly 9 foot high. Yes, I know, because I walked along the top of that to get down, and me and Bear were like on his tiptoes, trying to make sure we didn't fall off down into the water. The kitchen of the house overlooks the lower pool, and there's an inscription stone near the entrance bearing... This was written by the person's grandchild. An inscription near the entrance bearing my grandfather's initials and date of FH 1910. When he died with £4.4 million in the bank in 1941. Wow. That is a lot of money for the 1940s. And like I said, he was a multi-millionaire way back before that as well. So what a guy. And you know what? There's so much more history around it, around the place, because from what I can see, it was built as like a kid's playhouse and holiday home. Like, his main offices are across the road. He had a house in Cheshire, but he also had the house down there. His offices are across the road, and then that was built for the kids. So the kids would go and spend their days there, and then from there, it turned into a bit of a holiday home, and then they owned it for a certain amount of time and sold it on. Wow, what a place. So good.
Look, how beautiful are they? So, so nice. And then passports. Where? Saudi Arabia. Passports from Saudi Arabia. Now, I'm not looking inside them. I can't show you anyway. I might have a look myself, but I can't show you. Right, I've just had a look, and the first one I looked in, they were born in 1912, and the passport was valid until 1992. And then the other one, they were born in 1970 something, and that's the picture that you saw on top there. So I don't know whether they've moved away or what, but all a bit odd, isn't it? I recognise that name, Bayan. I feel like I've seen that while I've been abroad somewhere, but I don't know where. They definitely look older. They don't look recent. They're quite cool, to be fair. They look like they are off in another country, probably Saudi Arabia. But I like them, I think they're good.
Right, so this brings us up to date now. Well, I think there was some owners in between. I can't find very much about it, but I do find the current owner living there for quite a long time. Now, she is still alive, and I don't know where she is now. However, I've got quite a bit of history on her. She is from Saudi Arabia, which we already knew that. She studied at Athens University, and she's actually got a LinkedIn page, and it says that she currently owns the business that was all the products that were in there. However, Sue, my YouTube sort of relationship manager, she has looked into this, and on Company's House, they went out of business. One of the businesses went out in, I think, the late 90s, and one in the early 2000s. So they've not been running those businesses for years and years, although the house looks like it's quite fresh. It doesn't look like it's been abandoned for 20, 30 years. So it's a little bit strange, really, because all those products look like they've been left from like the day before. It's really strange. Now, something else about this woman. She had plans to set up an international business of lodgers. So that makes me think 100% this place was used as a bit of a retreat, like I thought it was when we looked at it. Not a brothel, like a lot of people saying, oh, it's definitely a brothel, this 100% a brothel. And I'm like, no, it's not. 100% not. So basically, her and her partner, now I don't know if it was like a relationship or if it was just like a professional relationship, but she's linked with a Greek man who I'm presuming she met at Athens University, and sorry, I just saw Bear's legs flicking out behind him. He's rolling round, probably in fox poo. But they went into business. They started up the companies that I've just mentioned. One was making like perfumes. One was sort of products associated with health. So all the things that we expected. However, they were looking at making what was the word? Now, that noise you can hear now is Bear dragging his lead through all the leaves right next to the camera. That's it, Bear. You just cause as much trouble as you can. So they were making like eco-pods, eco-travel. Now that wind's picked up as well. Bloody hell, it's just one of them days today. Noisy Bear, noisy wind. I'm sorry about it. Yeah, they were making eco-pods in Tanzania. And there's a massive PDF project that we've come across. Well, Sue came across it, and it's outlining, I think it's looking for investors and looking for people to help out with it, and it's outlining the project, where it would be, how it was like to save the planet. It was a getaway that would be aimed at people that had a lot of money but liked the thought of saving the planet, and it looked amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Now, whether that ever happened and that's where she's disappeared to, I don't know, because I can't find much information about now. However, the guy that she was with, the Greek guy, it makes no sense, because they're starting up this eco business to save the planet, but I found loads and loads of documentation tying him in with a Saudi oil company. So like proper, like the opposite, the polar opposite, like pumping out oil. And I will put it on. I have to sort of get rid of names and things like that, but I'll put on a couple of the posts that I've found, and it links in with like oil investment companies and things like that. So it's really, really interesting. I was so tempted to click on LinkedIn and add her, but then I thought, like, if I add her and then tell her where I've been, is it going to cause me problems? So I didn't, but it is really interesting, and you can probably work it out yourself. That it's not my responsibility. You can probably work it out for yourself. If you are that sort of detective type that likes looking into these sorts of things, you will 100% find it.
Now, I don't know if I trust this rope bridge, and I definitely don't trust you on it. Bear, get away from it. Oh, it looks very dangerous over there. I might have to tie Bear up and go and have a look myself, because, oh, do I dare do it now? I don't want to break it, but I also don't want to miss out on opportunity of seeing it. It's going to be so slippy. Oh, I can't, no, I don't think I can, because the slope of the bridge, with it being so wet, I'm just going to slide down it. At least I can't film it if I do. Let me, I could crawl along it, I suppose. Give me a minute. Got myself in a pickle. I'm halfway along and I've slipped. I can't get up. I can't get back up to the edge. I don't know what I'm going to do. Look, I'm down on one knee. I just slipped. You can see slip marks straight down there. This is ridiculous. I can't go either way now. I don't know what to do. Jesus Christ, I'm back up. I've pulled my arms out of the sockets just about to do that. I'll be sick. That hurt so much. My feet were slipping behind me. I had to dive to grab a big piece of wood. You can literally see the grooves in my knees from look at that. From jamming my knees into that. Bloody hell, I am not trying that again.
Next up, the bridge. My God, that bridge. Now, I sort of wish I'd been able to show you better, but I was sort of panicking. I'm not going to lie. I've had different sorts of comments. I've had comments saying, you're a pussy. You should have gone across the bridge. You're a big chicken. You should have just done it. I've got people that are saying, oh, I was dreading you attempting to go across that bridge. I knew you'd try it and you didn't do it eventually, and I'm so pleased. And then you got people that were like, oh, I wouldn't have done it, or I'm glad you sort of tried, and things like that. Right. I don't think people understand how slippy that was. Like, the floor was slippy to start with, but as soon as you stood on that bridge, it went down, like almost straight down. And I went 3 or 4 steps and my feet went, and I was just on the floor, on the bridge shaking from side to side like this. And I thought to myself, if I go any further, I'm in trouble, because I'm not going to be able to get back up again. So I held myself in position. That's when I sort of filmed myself, sort of like in a brace position, so I couldn't shift. However, I'm so glad I didn't. And the reason I'm glad I didn't, if you look on the photographs that I've taken, at the opposite side of the bridge, it's held up with the spindliest little poles you have ever seen. It's like the whole thing was collapsing and those poles had been put there. Now, I would have loved to see inside. That's why I sort of wanted to try and get to the bottom of it, so I could see if there was a ladder to climb up from a different angle. There wasn't. So it is a mystery, and it's doing my head in what's inside that place. Other explorers may have been in. It might have been dry the day they went, so they may have been able to do it. They may have not been a big fat bastard that's going to break the bridge. I don't know. But it wouldn't have been particularly very nice falling off there, I know that, because it wasn't just above the water. There was rocks and all sorts. So it wasn't really worth the risk. And I am a risk taker, you know I am. But I do also know when there's a limit of how far you should push yourself, and I didn't want to. So anyway, I got my knees wedged. You saw the grooves in my knees, wedged into the like little bits of wood, and I had to hold my arms are still killing now, and this is what, a week and a day on from when I went. Hold on to the thing and pull myself up, and I can feel it in my trapezius muscle in the back of my, like below my neck there. It is killing from dragging my body up because my feet were just like this behind me on the slippy floor, just doing that. And I had to just sort of lunge forward, grab the big piece of wood and pull myself in. But it really hurt. It really hurt my shoulders and my back and my arms. But it is what it is. It's what you've got to do sometimes. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the adrenaline buzz of like, oh my God, I'm going to fall. I do actually like that sort of stuff. So it was good.
Oh my Lord. Someone's been rifling through that, haven't they? Changing room, dressing room. It looks like they've left in a hurry. Either that or, Bear, don't go in there. You don't need to go in there because you'll not get back out. But yeah, they've either left in a hurry or someone's rifled through here afterwards. Part of me thinks that they've left in a... Oh God, that freaked me out. I could just see me in a mirror at the end, all lit up, illuminated. And it wasn't a pretty sight because there was just a man staring at me. But yeah, I feel like they've done a runner for one reason or another. Maybe they haven't. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it seems like. Yeah, that's what I could see. Just staring back.
Now, the mystery of the actual woman that lived there still... I know we've touched on it already, but it still baffles me a little bit. Like, what happened to her? And somebody put that they were from Saudi Arabia, and leaving things like passports behind was something extremely bad. So I think she has left in a hurry, or she's died suddenly. But like I said, there's records on there showing that she's still alive. But is that like LinkedIn showing that she still owns the business, but maybe nobody ever shut that down? I don't know, but it is very odd. She was in the Arab news. She was quite a prominent person within her field. So where's she gone? Is she at the bottom of one of those pools? Like, has she gone to Tanzania and set up a thing over there? What has happened? I would love people to try and work it out. Now, one of my subscribers put that there's a bad person involved in her life. I actually haven't found that out yet. I replied to them saying I've found out all this information, and I don't actually think I've found the thing they've found. So there could be more to this story. And if I do find out more, I might do another follow-up video on it and give you like everything about her, rather than about the property, about her and stuff, because I just think it's quite an interesting story. But yeah, just going back to the house itself, I think it's one that's going to stay with me. It's one that I'm going to think about for a long time. Like, a lot of these places in my head blur into one explore. I can't remember which one I saw this clock in, or this lettering, or whatever. But this will stand out. This will be a different one in my head that I'll remember and think, wow, that was a good explore. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I really did. We are going to be doing a live next month for our 8-year birthday, and Andy will be there. It'll be me and Andy and probably Bear as well. And we'll be doing a live stream where we'll be doing an auction. Well, maybe not an auction, but something where you can get hold of items to do with the channel that have been in videos that you've seen, and other stuff as well. Signed posters, stickers, all sorts. So get yourself involved in that when it happens. It's all to raise money for the trip that I'm going to be doing to the Arctic Circle. So please get involved. I now need to make sure he's not going to disappear, because I know there was some people up at the top and I don't want him to go and kill him. So I'll see you all later. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Oh. Yeah.